T-strippers, also known as wire strippers, are tools specifically designed to remove the insulation from electrical wires. These tools generally consist of a pair of handles connected to a head with precisely sized cutting holes or blades. The user inserts the wire into the appropriately sized hole and then closes the handles, cutting through the insulation without damaging the underlying conductor. T-strippers offer several advantages. Firstly, they provide consistent and accurate stripping, minimizing the risk of nicking or cutting the wire strands. Secondly, they are relatively easy to use, especially for repetitive tasks. Thirdly, many T-strippers have adjustable settings to accommodate different wire gauges, making them versatile. However, T-strippers can sometimes be less effective with certain types of insulation or with very small gauge wires. Also, they are primarily designed for stripping wires and may not be as useful for other electrical tasks. Linesmen pliers, also sometimes called electrician's pliers, are multi-purpose hand tools commonly used in electrical work. They typically feature a flat gripping surface, a cutting edge, and a gripping nose. These pliers can be used for a variety of tasks, including cutting wires, bending wires, twisting wires, and pulling wires. While linesmen pliers can be used to strip wires, they are not specifically designed for this purpose. To strip a wire with linesmen pliers, the user typically uses the cutting edge to carefully score the insulation and then pulls the insulation away from the conductor. This method requires more skill and precision than using T-strippers, as it is easy to damage the wire strands if too much pressure is applied. The advantages of linesmen pliers include their versatility and durability. They can be used for a wide range of electrical tasks, making them a valuable tool for any electrician. They are also typically made of hardened steel, making them durable and long-lasting. However, linesmen pliers are not as efficient or accurate for stripping wires as T-strippers. They also require more skill and precision to use effectively. A pocket knife is a small, folding knife that can be easily carried in a pocket. While pocket knives are not specifically designed for electrical work, they can be used to strip wires in a pinch. To strip a wire with a pocket knife, the user typically uses the blade to carefully score the insulation and then pulls the insulation away from the conductor. This method is even more challenging and risky than using linesmen pliers, as it is very easy to cut the wire strands or injure oneself. The advantages of using a pocket knife to strip wires are its portability and availability. A pocket knife can be carried anywhere and is often readily available when other tools are not. However, using a pocket knife to strip wires is not recommended due to the high risk of damage and injury. It is also not an efficient or accurate method. When choosing a tool for stripping wires, several factors should be considered. Firstly, the frequency with which the tool will be used. If wire stripping is a regular task, T-strippers are the best option due to their efficiency and accuracy. Secondly, the variety of wire gauges that will be stripped. T-strippers with adjustable settings can accommodate a range of wire gauges, while linesmen pliers and pocket knives require more skill to use effectively with different gauges. Thirdly, the importance of safety. T-strippers are the safest option for stripping wires, as they minimize the risk of damage and injury. Fourthly, the budget. T-strippers are typically more expensive than linesmen pliers or pocket knives, but they are a worthwhile investment for those who strip wires frequently. To elaborate further, let's delve into the technical aspects of each tool. T-strippers, at their core, are designed for one specific purpose: reliably and repeatedly removing insulation from wires without damaging the conductor. The precision of this tool lies in its carefully calibrated cutting holes or blades. These holes are sized to match specific American wire gauge, or AUG, standards, ensuring that the insulation is cut cleanly without nicking or severing the wire strands. When selecting a T-stripper, it's crucial to consider the range of wire gauges it can accommodate. Some T-strippers have fixed sizes, meaning they are only suitable for a limited number of wire gauges. Others have adjustable dials or mechanisms that allow them to be used with a wider range of wire sizes. Adjustable T-strippers offer greater versatility, but it's important to ensure that the adjustment mechanism is accurate and reliable. Another important feature of T-strippers is the type of cutting blade they use. Some T-strippers use scissor-like blades that shape the insulation, while others use knife-like blades that slice through it. Scissor-like blades tend to be more durable and less prone to damage, but knife-like blades can provide a cleaner cut, especially with certain types of insulation. Linesmen pliers, on the other hand, are general-purpose tools that have evolved over time to meet the needs of electricians and other tradespeople. While they can be used to strip wires, their design is not optimized for this task. The cutting edge of linesmen pliers is typically designed for cutting solid wires, not for precisely removing insulation. As a result, using linesmen pliers to strip wires requires a delicate touch and a good understanding of the tool's capabilities. One of the key challenges of using linesmen pliers to strip wires is avoiding damage to the conductor. The cutting edge of the pliers can easily nick or sever the wire strands, which can weaken the wire and increase the risk of electrical hazards. To minimize this risk, it's important to use sharp pliers and to apply only enough pressure to score the insulation. It's also helpful to rotate the pliers around the wire to ensure a clean and even cut. Pocket knives, as the name suggests, are designed for portability and convenience, not for specialized tasks like wire stripping. While a sharp pocket knife can be used to remove insulation from a wire, it's generally not recommended due to the high risk of injury and damage. The blade of a pocket knife is typically not designed for cutting insulation, and it can easily slip or bind, leading to accidental cuts. Additionally, pocket knives often lack the precision and control needed to avoid damaging the wire strands. If you must use a pocket knife to strip a wire, it's important to take extra precautions. Firstly, use a sharp knife to reduce the amount of force required. Secondly, hold the wire securely and keep your fingers away from the blade. Thirdly, cut the insulation at a shallow angle to minimize the risk of cutting the wire strands. When working with electrical wires, it's also important to consider the type of insulation being used. Different types of insulation require different stripping techniques. For example, some types of insulation are very brittle and can easily crack or shatter, while others are more flexible and require more force to cut. T-strippers with adjustable settings can be helpful for dealing with different types of insulation, as they allow you to fine-tune the cutting force. Linesmen pliers and pocket knives can also be used with different types of insulation, but they require more skill and experience to use effectively. In addition to the type of insulation, it's also important to consider the size of the wire. Smaller gauge wires are more delicate and require more care when stripping. T-strippers with small cutting holes are ideal for stripping small gauge wires, as they provide a precise and controlled cut. Linesmen pliers and pocket knives can also be used to strip small gauge wires, but they require even more precision and control. When working with electrical wires, safety should always be the top priority. Before stripping any wire, make sure the power is turned off to the circuit. Use insulated tools to prevent electrical shock. Wear safety glasses to protect your eyes from flying debris. And never work with electrical wires in wet or damp conditions. By following these safety precautions, you can minimize the risk of electrical hazards and ensure a safe working environment. Furthermore, understanding wire gauges is crucial. The American wire gauge, or AUG, is a standardized system for denoting wire sizes. The higher the AWG number, the smaller the wire diameter. For example, 12 AWG wire is thicker than 14 AWG wire. When selecting a wire stripping tool, it's important to choose one that is compatible with the wire gauges you will be working with. T-strippers typically have markings indicating the wire gauges they are designed for. Linesmen pliers and pocket knives can be used with a wider range of wire gauges, but they require more skill to use effectively. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, provides guidelines for the proper installation and wiring of electrical systems. The NEC specifies the types of wires that can be used in different applications, as well as the ampacity or current carrying capacity of different wire gauges. When working with electrical wires, it's important to follow the NEC guidelines to ensure a safe and code-compliant installation. For example, NEC Table 310.15b16 provides ampacity ratings for various wire types and sizes based on insulation temperature rating and installation conditions. Using the correct wire size for a given application is crucial to prevent overheating and potential fire hazards. Also, proper wire termination techniques are essential for ensuring reliable electrical connections. When connecting wires to devices such as outlets, switches, and circuit breakers, it's important to use the correct type of connector and to tighten the connections properly. Loose connections can cause arcing, which can lead to overheating and fire. Furthermore, understanding voltage drop is crucial in electrical wiring. Voltage drop is the decrease in voltage that occurs along the length of a wire due to its resistance. Excessive voltage drop can cause electrical devices to malfunction or operate inefficiently. The NEC recommends limiting voltage drop to a maximum of 3% for branch circuits and 5% for feeders. To minimize voltage drop, it's important to use the correct wire size and to keep wire runs as short as possible. In addition to wire stripping, there are other important wire preparation techniques that electricians should be familiar with. These include wire bending, wire twisting, and wire soldering. Wire bending is used to create smooth and gradual bends in wires to avoid sharp corners that can damage the insulation. Wire twisting is used to join two or more wires together to create a secure electrical connection. Wire soldering is used to create a permanent and corrosion-resistant connection between wires. When working with electrical wires, it's also important to be aware of potential hazards such as electrical shock, arc flash, and exposure to hazardous materials. Electrical shock can occur when a person comes into contact with a live electrical circuit. Arc flash is a sudden release of electrical energy that can cause severe burns and other injuries. Hazardous materials such as lead and asbestos may be present in older electrical equipment. To protect yourself from these hazards, it's important to follow proper safety procedures and to use appropriate personal protective equipment, such as insulated gloves, safety glasses, and arc-rated clothing. In summary, selecting the right tool for stripping wires involves considering factors such as frequency of use, wire gauge variety, safety, and budget. T-strippers are ideal for frequent and precise stripping, while Linesmen Pliers offer versatility for various electrical tasks. Pocket knives are a last resort due to safety concerns. Understanding wire gauges, NEC guidelines, voltage drop, and proper wire preparation techniques are essential for safe and reliable electrical work. Always prioritize safety by de-energizing circuits, using insulated tools, and wearing appropriate personal protective equipment. By mastering these skills and adhering to safety protocols, you can ensure efficient and safe wire stripping practices in any electrical project.